All right, it is week 2 of Under 20 with Cooking with Styles. This week we're doing some steak, some braised tri-tip with mashed potatoes, celery, carrots, and onions. Let's get cooking with style. So we're not skimping on the size of our meat here. These tri-tips are about 6 ounces each, and I'm going to salt them heavily and then a little bit of pepper over the top, and then I'm going to add some canola oil to my very hot Dutch oven. And what we're trying to do is get a really good sear on this. So I'm doing this on a medium-high to high heat. And that is the sound we're looking for, about 3 to 4 minutes aside. So we've had these in for about 3 or 4 minutes. That's what we're looking for. Another 3 or 4 minutes, and then the rest will come together. So the tri-tip's been searing for another 3 or 4 minutes on the other side. I'm going to pull them out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to basically add what I call a mirepoix, which is carrots, onions, and celery. And we're going to saute those for about 3 or 4 minutes. Then we'll add the garlic. All right, we've sauteed the vegetables for about 3 or 4 minutes. Now I'm going to add some tomato paste, and we're going to saute this into the vegetables. And the reason we're doing it separately is because by doing it this way, we intensify the flavor of the tomatoes without adding a lot of them to the entire sauce. So the bulk of the steps are done. Now it's time to deglaze the pan with a little red wine. Now if you don't want to use red wine, you can use just all beef broth. I'm going to stir this in to get some of those bits to come up off the bottom, and I'm going to keep the stove on medium-high. We're going to add our beef broth, and then to that I've got my herbs and some more garlic here. We've got the thyme, fresh thyme, bay leaves, and I'm just going to drop this whole clove of garlic in there. Actually, it's a half. And I'll bring that to a boil, and then we'll drop the tri-tip back in. All right, this has come to a nice boil here. I want to get in my Worcestershire sauce. Almost forgot that. We're going to do 3 shots of that. Give it a quick little stir, and then in goes our tri-tip. And we're going to put all the juices that we've got in the plate here into the sauce. Our oven's preheated, 350. Get all those good juices in there. On goes the lid, preheated oven, and we'll be checking it about every half hour. So our tri-tip is done. I'm going to shut the oven off, pull it out. We're going to get it into the last phase here where we thicken up this sauce. What we're going to do, ooh, I almost touched it, hot out of the oven. See, it's nice and boiling hot. Gently pull your tri-tip out and set it on a plate. We're going to just get these on the plate, throw a little foil on them to keep them warm, and then we're going to thicken up this sauce. You want to keep everything nice and warm. Set it on the back of your stove. That'll be plenty. Now I've gone ahead and made a little butter and cornstarch ball. And I'm going to just drop this in. I'm going to turn the stove on medium, and I'm going to mix that in. And that cornstarch and butter will melt, and the cornstarch will thicken the sauce, and the butter will make it a little silky. So while I do that, we'll let this simmer, and we'll be ready in just a minute. And the good thing about this is we really didn't scrimp on that tri-tip. We got everybody 6-ounce portions. And let's get those guys right there. I'm serving this up with some awesome mashed potatoes. Everybody's mashed potatoes are awesome. Look at that big portion there. Put that right in the center, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tri-tip and I'm going to lay it across my potatoes like that. And then I've got this delicious sauce. Some might call it gravy. I'm going to call it a sauce. And remember that there's the bay leaf and the thyme in there. But just put that over the top of the meat and let that gravy get down on the potatoes, all the beautiful celery, carrots, onions. And to finish this off, we'll take a little bit of parsley, put that over the top, and voila, there you go. Now that's not your traditional steak dinner off the grill, but it's tri-tip braised with some mashed potatoes, veggies, and we're doing it for under 20 bucks. Not bad when you look at that list right there. If you'd like this recipe and all the ones we're doing on Cooking with Styles, go to cbs8.com. Enjoy.